Johanna Fisher.
Babbie, 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 Babbie. You'll hear me say
Johanna, Johanna,
it.
Johanna.
For years you've heard me say it, and I love saying it, and today couldn't be any more special to me. The name Babbie Mason is synonymous with creative excellence in the Christian community. Yes, she's been around for a while. It surprised me how long she's been around, but she has been around for a while. And we've known each other for a very long time. Babbie, welcome to the show today.
Thank you, my friend. It's so good to see you, your
Oh,
beautiful self. I've missed you, and it's just so good to be with you today.
it's so great, so great. And I want to see you in my town shortly. Okay.
I'll look forward to that.
We met a long time ago. Now here's my take on it. You may remember something different or not at all, but that's okay. You- Um, Jane called me and said, "I have a friend coming into Dallas. Could you kind of make her feel welcome?" I said, "Well, Jane, this is the first of my event when I was working at Christian radio station. This is my first event today. Would you be willing to come to that?" And we didn't get to talk a lot because I had stuff going on there, but we did get to talk, between stuff and all. And I found out that you had just put out your first C, no, cassette, your first cassette. Um, and that's the cassette that got you started. Now, do you remember any of that?
Yes, I remember, because you are a rock star, okay?
Oh,
And let me,
stop.
oh no, I am so serious because everybody knows Johanna Fisher.
Oh,
You have more friends and contacts and people who know you and love you.
and dogs that bark at me when I walk along the street.
And the dogs that bark along, they're saying hello too. You have so many friends who love you and admire you. And I, of course, whenever I'm invited to do anything on radio, I jump at it because I want to encourage those that are listening and thank people for, listening to my music and thank radio stations for playing my music. And even today, after being in the industry 42 years, even before then, I was making my own records, but it's been ministry has been a thing of longevity for me, and I have gained a lot of friends, and I'm just so grateful to the Lord for the day that you and I met.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Barry Mason, in case you don't know, but I can't imagine that you wouldn't know, everybody I told that I was going to be talking to you, Barry Mason? Yes. She is she's a recipient of two Dove Awards. She's been nominated for the Grammy, the Stellar, and the Emmy Awards. She is a USA Today best-selling author. Babbie is a dedicated writer, a gifted singer, a prolific songwriter, a sought-after women's conference speaker, and a popular television talk show host. That's my friend, Babbie Mason. She
Yes.
was inducted into the Christian Music Hall of Fame in 2010, and in 2022, Babbie received the Golden Scroll Award from the Advanced Writers and Speakers Association for excellence as an author and a public speaker. She has done a
I've been very
lot.
busy, and I could be tired. I could be tired if I think about it, but
Babbie, go back to not necessarily day one, but go back a bit. How did you know you were going to do anything in music? Why did music have an appeal to you?
well, I don't remember a day in my life without music. I was heavily influenced by the music of the church. My father was a pastor, and my mother was the first lady, and she was also a singer. And my mother was the choir director, and she played the organ. So there was, and we had a piano in our house for as long as I can remember. So there was always this presence of music. My mother was one of those women who loved Jesus, and she sang around the house all the time. My mother was constantly singing when she was cooking or she was, preparing to go to church, or she was always singing. And my mother had a melodious voice. In fact, my mother and I recorded two songs
Yeah, God
Stop,
will open up. I know that one. Yes.
God will open up the windows
Yes.
and stop by the church and
Oh,
stop.
yeah.
Stop by the church one at Devil Ward in 1996, thanks
I
to
know
my
both
mother.
of them. Yes.
And so, if you want to hear my mother's voice, go to YouTube. Um, in fact, God will open up the windows has thousands and thousands of views, and so my mom has left a wonderful legacy. She's in heaven with the Lord. But I remember, just playing the piano, catching little chords and things like that, just playing around the house. The next thing I know, I'm playing for Sunday school. Then I'm playing for the junior choir, and I'm playing at church. And then one Sunday, when I was 9 years old, our church pianist, I think she moved away with her family or something, and the church was without a pianist. I was 9 years old, and Dad looked at me like 15 minutes before the 11 o'clock service, okay, and said, Bam, today you gonna play. And that was how I got hired as the church pianist at 9 years of age and played for my father's church for almost 20 years. And so that was just playing at the Lily Missionary Baptist Church in Jackson, Michigan, where my father, the late Reverend George W. Wade, was the pastor. That was my foundation. And those were my training years, my on the job training years, and the years of leadership and Johanna, I think one of the things that I was truly, truly blessed with, you asked me how did I know that this
Yes.
was a path?
Yes.
I really don't remember not wanting to sing. Every day of my life, I've considered myself a singer. But that desire was also affirmed by those who loved me, not only my parents, but there were people in my church who affirmed me, and they blessed me with their words, and they encouraged me. And even as a child, they encouraged me. I don't typically tell this story, but I was born with hydrocephalus, which is water on the brain. And back in the 50s, when I was born, the shunt, if I do my research correctly, didn't come out until the 60s. So the shunt didn't even exist when I was a baby. And so the Lord miraculously healed me. I have no side effects from the surgery, but it's a pretty serious birth defect. And I am here today to testify that God is good. And when I was at church, when I was growing up, the saints in the church would always say, child, you're a miracle. The Lord blessed you. You're a miracle. God's hand is on your life. God has something great in store for you. I would hear those kind of comments, just, like little seeds or little drops of bread, along a path.
Yes.
And that constantly encouraged me until I was old enough to kind of begin to put the pieces together. And so that was a huge source of encouragement for me, not just a training ground, which it was, but it was also a place where I was greatly affirmed in my gifts.
Yes. And that affirmation and the constant experiences that you were having led you to Motown. Tell me about that connection.
Well, I grew up in Jackson, Michigan, which is about an hour west of Detroit. And I grew up in the 60s, began to discover music for myself in the 60s when I was in like middle school. And then in the 70s when I graduated from high school. That was the heyday of Motown.
And
And
Jackson, was that the Jackson Five?
Jackson, Michigan. Well, the Jackson Five they're from Gary, Indiana.
Oh,
Um,
oh, oh, oh.
Jackson,
They were
Michigan is where
from
I was born. A little town called Jackson, Michigan,
Yeah,
which is
okay.
an hour from Detroit. So I was influenced by the music of Motown and the music of Aretha and the music of Gladys and all those female singers
Yeah,
um, and
we
I
all
kind of
were.
yeah, we all were exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
And as I was wanting to establish my own identity, I started just wanting to go to Detroit, make a name for myself in secular music. And I never made it to Motown. I tried to get discovered. I sang in bars and clubs and competitions and contests and things like that, hoping, to open up some doors. But the Lord He never allowed that to happen.
Yeah,
And I
never
gave
had
up that dream one day when I was in college. I went to school to finish my education and get a teaching degree because my daddy said, you need a job. Okay, that was my daddy. Daddy said, you need a job.
Yeah.
And so I studied teaching. I got my degree in vocal music education and middle school music.
Mm.
And I remember sitting in the snack bar one day. My heart was so divided. I have been a Christian ever since I was 8, but I don't remember a life without Jesus. Jesus has always been the center of my world
Mm.
and the center of my life. But I professed Christ at age 8. But my heart was divided. I had one foot in the church, one foot in the world, and had too much church for the world, too much world for the church. I was just in the state of conflict.
Yeah.
And I sat down one day in the college snack bar where I was attending school, and I was eating a cup of soup from a styrofoam cup. And the soup began to grow lukewarm over the course of the lunch period. And it began to, the oil in the soup began to rise and kind of coagulate on the top. And I tried to get through this cup of soup with a white plastic spoon and a styrofoam cup, and it just didn't taste good going down. And my stomach began to get a little queasy from trying to stomach this lukewarm cup of soup. Mm. And as I was sitting there trying to get through this lunch, the Holy Spirit sat down to have lunch with me and whispered into my spirit a passage of scripture from the book of the Revelation, chapter 3, around verse 15, 16. It's a letter to the church at Laodicea, but that day Jesus was reading my mail. Mm. And it says this: I know your works, and I know that you're neither hot nor cold. I wish you were one or the other, but because you are lukewarm and neither hot nor cold, I'm about to spew you out of my mouth.
Just like this.
Yes, just like that soup. And I knew the Lord was speaking to me for me to make up my mind to who will you serve? And so I threw up the white flag that day, surrendered my life totally to the Lord. When I was 8 years of age, Jesus became my Savior. But as a college senior, Jesus became my Lord. I surrendered my life totally to Him that day. My life, my music, my desires. And not long after that, Johanna, I got a spot on a traveling music team. I went to a Christian university, Spring Arbor University in Spring Arbor, Michigan. They established a singing group that year. I got a spot on that team and began to travel around mostly the Great Lakes states around Michigan and Canada with this team representing the school. The next year, they asked me to do the same type thing, but as a solo person. And that just began to help establish this path that the Lord wanted me on. And just one thing began to lead to another and another and another. And God began to He began to honor my decision to serve Him totally without compromise. And that's a little bit of the story. There are so many different chapters, but that's really how the Lord began to get a hold of my life and get a hold of my heart, and just desiring all of me. It's all or nothing at all. And that's a little bit of my background.
I hear you. I hear you. He's done that for all of us in different ways, of course. But
that's correct.
I feel the same way. It's Jesus only, all or nothing at all. So it's such a blessing. Babbie, we're talking with Babbie Mason today. If I'm not careful, I'm going to get lost in the conversation and forget to tell you who I'm talking to. I'm Johanna Fisher. You're listening to Truth. Absolutely. And I'm so pleased to welcome Babbie. We were a lot closer years ago, and then we kind of lost contact a little bit. And now the Lord has brought her, I hope, back into my life. I hope we'll have some wonderful times together, Babbie. But I loved hearing that, because I think that gives people hope who are not, who don't know where they should be right now. I mean, it's not a good thing to not know, but it's not the worst thing in the world. The Lord will touch you where you are, and He will bring you forward. Now, I'm going to give you a name, and I want you to tell me your relationship to that name. Charles.
Yes. Charles Mason is my husband of 45 years.
I believe he's the love of your life.
Oh, yeah, he definitely.
If he's
He still makes me laugh. He still makes me laugh. And
bring that part up. Okay.
Absolutely. We better bring that up.
Now, was he at the school that you went to?
No. Charles and I are totally opposites. I'm from the north, he's from the south. I'm from the city, he's from the country. I love the indoors, he loves the outdoors. But the Lord brought Charles to my hometown of Jackson, Michigan.
Mm.
Charles got a job there. There's a big state prison in Jackson, Michigan.
Mm.
Charles worked at the prison, but Charles has always loved coaching. Charles is a phenomenal ball coach.
Mm.
He coached Little League, baseball, Pop Warner football, basketball. And my brother, who is 10 years younger than I am, was on Charles's baseball team.
Mhm.
And, pretty much every Black community has a Martin Luther King Jr. Center, youth
Yes.
center.
Yes.
And we have a youth center, the Martin Luther King Youth Center in my hometown of Jackson. I was at the center that day at a church event.
Mm.
Charles was at the center that day with the baseball team. They have sports and athletics and all that at the same center. There were these two meetings going on, and we
It
both
was
just
boiling. I could just hear it boiling.
yeah, um, both meetings adjourned at about the same time, and we were in the parking lot.
Mm.
My brother, I mean, my Charles said to my little brother, "Introduce me to your mother," because Charles has always loved concerts and booking concerts and bringing concerts to town. He's always been that kind of a person where he just likes to arrange concerts and bring people to town. And my little brother said to him, "You don't need to speak with my mother. You need to speak with my sister. She's the singer in the family." And so it was because of my little brother that Charles and I were introduced that day,
Mm.
and we were working on some projects. Well, in the meantime, Charles got a job offer in Georgia, and he left for Georgia that summer, and we started dating long distance.
Mhm.
And by that spring, it was pretty obvious that we wanted to be married, and we got married that following year.
Mm.
That was back in 1980. So 45 years now we've been married.
That's wonderful. Please be sure to say hello to him for me. Babbie, one of the things I've always enjoyed about you is you didn't just keep your gift to yourself. And I don't know how many people do that or not, but I just always admired the fact that you were always reaching out to help someone. And I'll say get a head start in music. And somehow you use your family property and my friend Rosemary has been there and she said to tell you hello, by the way. Talk about that part, reaching back and helping other people, because you could have just gone on as the Lord was promoting you.
Yeah. Well, I'm a natural born teacher. I love teaching. I taught middle high school music for 8 years before quitting my job as a school teacher and going into ministry as a vocation. So I've always loved to teach. I taught my dolls, my sister and I, my sister's a teacher too. We used to hold school and in the garage, and teach our dolls how to spell and how to sing and how to write. So we've always loved teaching. And back in let's see, after I quit my job in 1984, I went to a conference out in Colorado called the Christian Artist Music Seminar in the Rockies. You may have
Estes,
heard of it.
Estes, was it Estes?
In Estes, that's right, in Estes Park, Colorado, that's right.
Yes.
And out there, they had this huge conference that lasted an entire week. And during the day, there were competitions and songwriting and vocal competitions. And so I entered into the vocal competition and the songwriting competition, and it changed my world.
Mhm.
I was able to get feedback and from the professionals, from those that were the movers and shakers in the industry, and they heard one of my song that I entered into the songwriting competition, and they gave me some fierce criticism. And it was so fierce that I said I wasn't going to ever write another song. But my husband encouraged me and he said, "No, you're going to go home and you're going to take what it is that you learned and you're going to, write some more." But I entered, yeah, he was such an encouragement. And so I went, I also entered into the vocal competition that year and I won third place. Well, I went back the next year after writing a song called All Rise. I
Oh,
wrote All Rise and went back the next year, entered All Rise in the competition and won first place in the songwriting competition and also first place in the vocal division. And that just began to open up doors to the industry. And but what began to happen is as my songs began to get out there and my songs were heard on the radio, people began to ask me. They came by my office for consultation. Hey, can you teach me how to get started in the music industry? Can you give me some feedback on my song? And then we started hosting conferences of our own. And that was how the Babbie Mason Music Conference was born. We had a weekend conference, 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, of a same kind of deal, but in Atlanta, Georgia. People came from all over the world to our conference. We had wonderful speaking, worship, breakout sessions. Our winner from our competition would always go out to Estes Park, Colorado. We'd pay their way. They'd stay with us in a house out there for an entire week. And it was just it was life changing to see, um, to plant seeds in the lives of other people and see them develop their gifts and their talents and their songs and to see their life change. And so this began to be a routine thing. For many years, we have held conferences and workshops, and I still host those conferences and workshops. And I would encourage those of you who are interested in bettering your songwriting skills, or maybe you want to write a book, or maybe you want to launch your own ministry, you can go to my website, Babbie.com, first name only, Babbie.com. And you'll see a space there on the website to drop your email address. Drop your email address in that space there on the website, and you'll get on our mailing list, and you'll be the first to know when those workshops and seminars come about. And we haven't done one for a couple of years. Number one, COVID came around, but number two, I went back to school and got my master's degree. And so that kind of put the conferences on hold. But I've been getting a lot of emails and inquiries about when am I going to bring them back around again. So I think in the spring we'll probably have another one. So get on my email address, on my email list. You'll know about it when the next conference rolls around. And that's how they got started. It was really kind of a demand.
Look at you just going on, continuing your education. You're never too old to do that. I know that. And you're never too late in life to do that. And that encourages, I'm sure, a lot of people. I don't want us to run totally out of time before we talk about something new that you have coming up. But if you could segue maybe from the family, your son in particular, and then tell us what you and he are doing together. Which, yeah, I knew that would bring a smile to your face. I knew it right away. Talk about that a little bit. Is his name Eric?
Chaz.
What?
Chaz.
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 Okay.
Chaz.
Yeah.
Chaz.
Okay. I didn't write it down on my paper, so it's better to
Right.
you. Go ahead, tell me.
Well, Chaz, of course, grew up in a musical family. Chaz has been on stage with me ever since he was a kid. I have done quite a few videos with the Bill Gaither homecoming family. Chaz was a Bill Gaither homecoming kid, and as Chaz began to get older, he began to establish his own music career. And he's a wonderful singer, songwriter, traveled all over the world with the Kanye West Sunday Service Choir and worked and produced with a lot of well-known people out in Los Angeles where he used to live. Well, Chaz has moved back to the Atlanta, Georgia area, and he is singing quite a bit with me in recent years. Chaz and I both lead worship together at church in Marietta, Georgia, at the Eastside Baptist Church, where we lead worship. But I got this inspiration to do another Christmas record, and this is my third Christmas project. And I got this idea to invite Chaz and my producer friend, Cheryl Rogers. And the three of us have teamed up together to record this project. It's called A Joyful Christmas with Family and Friends. And it is a beautiful project. There's some solos that I sing. There's some duets that I sing with Chaz. There's some trios that I sing with Chaz and Cheryl. And not only that, we are also kicking off a tour this Christmas that's taking us literally around mostly the Southeast in Georgia and Florida. But we're also going to be singing some together next year. So we've kicked off this brand new group. We've even given ourselves a name. We're calling ourselves the Babbie Mason Vocal Band. And it's going to be our voices together are amazing because we're all singers. And Chaz is a phenomenal singer. Cheryl is the music that you're familiar with, and the production, of the songs that you're familiar with that you hear on the radio, Cheryl Rogers is the producer of that music. She plays and arranges beautiful music and she sings. So the three of us have joined our forces and joined our voices to come together to tour, and you'll hear their voices on this beautiful project
And how
called
old is your son?
Joyful Christmas.
How
Chaz is 42 years old now.
Okay. Now let me ask you this because it just came to my mind real quick. Did Cheryl Rogers produce All Rise?
That was one of the songs that Cheryl did not produce.
Okay.
I recorded All Rise twice. I recorded it on a project that I did years ago on my own. That was produced by Larry Goss. And then I did the song again on a word project that was produced by Dave Williamson, I believe.
Yeah.
So, but Cheryl did not produce All Rise, but she produced God Has Another Plan. She produced A World of Difference. She produced What Can Separate You from the Love of God.
Yeah.
She produced um, With All My Heart. She produced Love Is the More Excellent Way.
Yeah.
A lot of those radio songs that you hear on your station
Well,
on.
I mainly ask you about that because I want you to know that All Rise takes me to the skies every time I hear it. I mean, how did you know? Oh, see, the time is going to go, but I need to talk more about Christmas because I want to know. I want to know how did you know how to do All Rise? It almost seems inspired.
It was inspired. Some songs you write or some songs I write by using my skill. I get an idea, my songwriting skill kicks in, and I write a song over a season or a day or a couple of minutes or an hour or whatever. And then there are those other songs that seem to be served on a silver platter right from the heavens. And it's like you're taking dictation. You just sit down and write as fast as you can as the Holy Spirit gives you the words. And All Rise was inspired like that. I wrote All Rise coming right from that conference at Estes Park that I told you about a moment ago.
Yeah.
And that just the idea of standing before a judge and being adjudicated and being scored at that scene in Estes Park reminded me that in the book of the Revelation it says that every nation, tribe, people, and tongue, and the elders and the saints, they stand around the throne and then they fall on their faces before the throne and worship God. And so
it's modulating, it builds. So I mean, and it's an anytime song because I first heard the song, I believe at Prestonwood Baptist, and you were there.
yes, many times.
Yes, but this was years ago when you first did it there. And it was at the end of their Christmas musical. So it can be sung at any time because it's not about us. It's more of the Christmas story come to life.
Yes.
It's just.
Well, it's a song about his presence. It's a song about his majesty and glory.
Yes, his glory.
And singing about that is appropriate for any day, any season, and any service.
Today, even more so today because of the signs of the times.
Yes.
Babbie, oh goodness, this time is going so fast. I'm kind of crazy here, but about the Christmas musical, are you going to be in the Dallas Fort Worth area to do anything special?
We are not. We don't have a date on this year for Christmas. However, since it looks like we're going to be singing, Chaz, Cheryl, and I, the Babbie Mason vocal band, is going to be singing into next year. So if you'd like for us to come and to your church for next year, reach out to me. Just go to my website, babbie.com, click the contact button, and email me there from the website and invite us.
I'm going to take that into consideration. But how many cities is your tour for Christmas this year with the new Christmas album?
We kick off our concert tour in the middle of November, and we are going right up until Christmas Eve. We're doing about 7 cities in about 3 weeks, so we're going to be really busy.
Yes, you are going to be busy. Tell me
well, about 5 weeks.
What songs are on the Christmas album? What do you recommend for us for good listening? Because I am
Oh
looking
my.
for a couple afterwards.
The project is a kind of it covers a lot of territory. There are some traditional favorites like Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. There is a Babbie Mason favorite like King Jesus is His Name.
Oh, yes.
There are some beautiful favorites like Sweet Little Jesus Boy. And then there are some brand new songs that I've written for this project. Mary's Little Baby. The whole record is stunning. And as I told you a moment ago, I sing some solos. I sing a duet with Chaz. We tip our hat to Donny Hathaway. Chaz and I do a duet on Donny Hathaway's This Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's a trio with Chaz, Cheryl, and I as we do the refrain of "Oh come all ye faithful, oh come let us adore him, oh come let us adore him, Christ the Lord."
Yeah.
There's a brand new trio that we're premiering on this project, a song that Cheryl and I wrote together called "Come See Da Baby" with a lady who came to one of my conferences. Her name is Sharon Dagonia. She came to one of my conferences and that established a relationship. After the conference, she sent me a song that it was her idea. But Sharon Dagonia, the originator of the idea, Cheryl Rogers and I wrote the song "Come See the Baby." Kind of has this African American island cool vibe that turned out to be the star of this record. So you can stream it at all the outlets online,
So it
iTunes,
has
Apple
been
Music.
released?
It's already released. You can go online and stream it. You can download it, but you can get the copies of the project, the CD, and the flash drive, which is a digital version, at my website at Babbie.com. Just go to Babbie.com and you'll see it right there on the front page of the website. Click on that. That'll take you to the store, and you can get that for your friends and family for Christmas.
Oh, thank you, Babbie. Our time is going very quickly, and I know you have things to get to. I don't want to belabor your time. Yes, I do. I want to keep
I know.
you for a long time.
And I would talk with you as long as you would allow me.
Oh, bless your heart. Thank you so much for doing this with us today. Babbie Mason has been our guest today, and you've been listening to Truth. Absolutely. I'm Johanna Fisher. This has been a delight to me, and I hope it has been to you too. We'll see you next time.